Today we're going to talk about 3 books that we recommend to every gardener, especially the beginning gardeners, but for all gardeners who want to up the game a little bit. Hi Helix. I'm Cindy from Part-Time Permies, and what do you need to start your garden next season? I highly recommend these 3 books, and the perfect time to get them is this time of year, because then you can start prepping for next year's garden. It's very important to grow your own food as things get more expensive, or if you just want healthy food, tasty food, fresh food that didn't travel halfway across the country to get to you. The closest food you could get is your backyard. The way we started gardening was in an apartment on the 8th floor of a apartment building outside of New York City, where we had a 20-foot by 5-foot balcony. You can grow anywhere. You could grow indoors, you could grow outside, you could grow in pots, you could grow in the ground. A couple of the books that I use the most frequently would be number 1, Eliot Coleman's 4-Season Harvest. This is a book I actually don't have in front of me right now because I use it so often. I had it last spring and I got to find it. But actually my copy of this book is also missing its cover, and I use this so often. And the 4-Season Harvest goes over a whole variety of things you need to do to make sure you extend your seasons in a cold climate. He's in Maine, so amazing book on that. He also has developed a method of mixing his own soil for potting mixes, for starting your seeds, and I use this all the time, and this includes soil blocking, so you don't have to have cells to put your seeds in. You can actually just have blocks of soil that go straight into your garden, keep them in a big tray, and the only thing you're reusing every year is the big tray. So it saves a lot on plastic as well. And I find is easier because you can actually up pot them pretty easily because you could get different size soil blocks. So I do have a video on downscaling his soil block recipe, because his recipe is for doing quite a bit at a time. Scaling it for more of a smaller use rather than farming and more homestead use. Another book that I use all the time is How to Grow More Vegetables, Don Jevons. It goes through, again, everything A to Z. Double digging your soil if you want to do that the first couple of years. It does help loosen up your beds. It goes through timing to plant, seed propagation, timing by moon phases, which does have some scientific backing as far as which moon phases grows your shoots faster, which ones grow the roots faster, when to start which seeds depending on how long they take to germinate. It has everything in how to set up your beds to get the most out of the space, and companion planting ideas, a whole lot of different ideas in this book. So this is another one that I use every year and just keep pulling new bits of information out of to apply to my gardening. Third book that I will go through, and before I get into this one, I will also list here at the end, I'll list a couple of books that I'm going to focus on rereading or reading this winter. And I did have a thought, you can let me know what you think in the comments below, of doing a little bit of a book club this winter, having videos that kind of go over some of these books as I'm reading them, and possibly, let me know on this one, possibly starting a live show once a month that can review some of these books as we go through the winter season. So if that's something you'd be interested in, please leave a comment below and let me know that. And in the meantime, if you're finding this information helpful, please hit the like button so this video gets out to more people. But the third book that I highly recommend is actually a little bit more of a combination journal book. It's actually a week-by-week vegetable gardener's handbook. And this is one I have written all over inside. It basically walks you through how to use the book at the beginning and week by week what you can plant based off of when your average last frost date is. So you figure that out by going online and looking up your average last frost date for your area. And then you count the weeks before that and the weeks after that. And it goes through a lot of what you should be starting seed-wise indoors, what you should be direct planting at what times. So I do find this helpful. It does have quite a number of tips. So it's a great gardening book and a great way to start a garden journal so you can figure out what grows best in your area at what time to start things and all that. My suggestion, I bought this once, and then what I do is I take a notebook and do the week by week in that notebook, guided by this book, so that you don't have to buy this book every year and refill it out every year. That's my approach to save a little money on it, but definitely a must-have for helping organize and keep track of when to start what, especially if you want to start most of your plants from seed. Now, if you're a first-year gardener, you may want to start with transplants that you buy from a nursery, and that's fine. Or if some of your seeds don't start well, you can always supplement with nursery-bought plants. But I do find that very helpful because starting from seed is much cheaper. It definitely saves a lot of money. Speaking of seeds, I do have a link in the description below to 2 companies that are great for heirloom organic seeds. So if you're interested, these are affiliate links. You can check these companies out. If you're interested in purchasing from my link, then I get a small commission. Doesn't change your price at all. Moving on to 3 books I'm going to be revisiting over this winter to help move a little bit more to learn about my perennials and how to grow them. First one, well, we're named part-time permies here for a reason. If you don't know the term permaculture, I would suggest looking that up. But basically, Introduction to Permaculture is first on my list to look at and glean information from. I actually have a pen stuck in here, so I've used this in the past. But this is written by Bill Mollison, who's kind of the father of the term permaculture. He may not have been the original one to apply some of the concepts in here, but he's the original one to use that term on these concepts. This book on growing fruit trees, novel concepts and practices for successful care and management by Jean-Marie Lespinasse and Evelyn Leterme, French growers. So hopefully I pronounced the names correctly. It goes over a lot of different plants and how to take care of them. Another one I'm interested in skimming through and pulling little nuggets out of for this winter is the Regenerative Grower's Guide to Garden Amendments. This I'll probably be reading closer to early spring so that I can mark some areas and things that I want to do through the summer to help give more nutrients from property to my plants on property. So those are 3 books that I highly recommend and 3 books that I'll be going over. Again, if you want to be involved in a book club and would be interested in those videos, please let me know. We'll see you with our next video. Thanks for watching.